Hi, I'm Lisa Leiter. In Chicago Business Today, the Illinois Lottery. Governor Pat Quinn this week announced that North Star Lottery Group will take over as the first private manager of the state's $2 billion a year lottery system. Illinois is the first state to privatize the running of its lottery, aimed at boosting revenue and profits. North Star projected it would generate $4.8 billion in net income between 2012 and 2016.
We'll have an enhancement of over $1.1 billion in the lottery for education and for capital projects. And many of those capital projects include building schools, building university buildings, and repairing schools and university and community college buildings.
Quinn's decision this week marks the end of a 2-year process. Andy Shaw, executive director of the Better Government Assn, joined me to talk more about it. Andy, thanks for being here today.
My pleasure.
Has the state disclosed everything that it said it would during the process? What will you be looking for? What will the Better Government Assn continue to monitor going forward?
Well, you know, they did at the end of the day, at the 11th hour, do all the disclosing. And our concern all along is that it was way too late. They also told us very little about the bidders until the end. We never found out until the very end why a couple folks were the finalists and others weren't. What troubled a group like ours all along the way was the lack of transparency. Now, that doesn't mean they didn't make a good decision. They may have. The extra $1 billion in the winning bid over 5 years is a good thing for the state of Illinois, but more transparency would have been better along the way.
Now, Quinn obviously yesterday defending that he's following procurement laws during this whole process. There are appearances of an inside deal, particularly because North Star and the partnership already have some contracts with the Illinois Lottery. I mean, what do you make of that? I mean, is he going to be under fire regardless?
Well, you know, it looks like this was done the Illinois way, which is the larger version of the Chicago way, which means the insiders grease the skids and they win the deal. I would be very suspicious of that happening had I not felt that a number of the people at Oliver Wyman, the consulting company, and at Kroll, the investigators, actually tried to do this on the square along with the lottery. I don't think you disqualify North Star because of its tentacles when it comes up with a bid that is $1 billion higher than the second one. But the good news is that the lottery contract built in a lot of penalties for non-performance. If they don't make us the money they said they were going to make us, they'll lose their bonus, they'll lose their fee, and that's good.
Yeah, and that could be hundreds of millions of dollars over the next 5 years.
It looked like an inside deal, and I know there was paranoia, there was suspicion with good reason. This is Illinois. Now, Representative Jack Franks did a HuffPost op-ed in the last few days. He said, blow the whole deal up. It's an inside deal, throw it out, get rid of the whole concept of privatization, go back to state operation. Problem with that is all the lottery did now was follow the law that was passed by that same legislature that Jack Franks sits in. He may not like it, but they all followed the law the way it was written.
Okay, so there are no jobs that are going to be lost as a result of this deal. But once North Star starts running the lottery, is it clear whether there's going to be any work for the lottery workers to do?
I'm not a big fan of gambling. I don't play the lottery very much, and I won't start playing it more now. But I do live in a state that is virtually bankrupt, and the thought of $1 billion more over 5 years is an attractive thought if it's done legitimately. The $1 billion in and of itself will help save jobs in Illinois. It'll help bolster the pension system, which is teetering on the brink of collapse. So even if you don't have a lot of jobs in the actual bid process, I think the upside is a good one. We wanted to see the process follow transparency. It didn't, but despite that, it looks like they might have gotten it right anyway.
Okay, Andy, well, thanks for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
It's important to point out that Illinois still owns the lottery and has veto power over all decisions made by North Star. Well, that's this edition of Chicago Business Today. For more on this story, be sure to check out chicagobusiness.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday.